Call the meeting of the McHenry County Zoning Board of Appeals to order. The reason for our hearing today, we're here for petition number 2024-054. The applicant is Grafton Township Solar LLC and Coral Township Solar LLC. The request is for a conditional use permit to allow for a commercial solar energy facility. The property consists of approximately 182 acres and is located on the south side of Adamson Road at the intersection with Froling Road in Coral and Grafton Townships, Illinois. There are 3 different PIN numbers associated with this application. They are 1713-400-008, 1818-300-003, and 1818-300-006. I'll have the members of the zoning board introduce themselves and the township in which they reside, starting on my left.
Mary Donner, Greenwood Township.
Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Charlie Elridge, Richmond Township.
I'm Linnea Kustra in Alden Township.
Gardner in Nunda Township.
Kurt Schnabel, Riley Township.
This petition has been reviewed and the following items have been received prior to today's scheduled hearing. Publisher's certificate of publication from a newspaper is dated October 19, 2024, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. Affidavit of posting was signed and date posted was October 24, 2024, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. Affidavit of mailing was signed and date mailed was October 16, 2024, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The survey has been checked against the petition, legal notice, and publication in the newspaper, and all 3 match. The filing fees have been paid. The endangered species consultation was not required for this petition. And the McHenry County Soil and Water Conservation District report has been received. So how the hearing works, just for those who maybe have not been here and is also for the petitioner, is we'll take your testimony, any kind of presentation you want to give to the board, and then the board will ask questions. And then after we're done with our questioning, staff might have some questions for you as well. And then after that, if any member of the public wants to ask questions, you can only ask it based on his testimony, what he, you can't go outside the bounds of what his testimony is. But you can ask questions, and you have a 3-minute time limit for each person. And so after you ask questions, then the staff will present their report to the board. We might have questions for that. And then after that, if you have any comments on the petition itself, not questions, but your own personal comments, then you have the opportunity to do that at that time. So this is quasi-judicial, this is being recorded, this is testimony, so I'll have to swear you in if you want to have comments, or for the petitioner and staff, anyone who would give testimony. So if you're going to speak, I would ask you to raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
You do too, okay. All right, we'll turn it over to the petitioner and go ahead and give your presentation.
Great. Are you able to put the site plan up? I don't know if you have the application. I have my laptop, but if you're able to put, maybe just.
And if you could just start by introducing
Yeah,
yourself.
so first off, again, I want to thank everyone for hearing me today. My name is Peter McAuliffe. I am the owner of 6GM. We are a small solar company out of Champaign. We're the owners of the applicant entities, the Grafton Township Solar LLC and Coral Township Solar LLC. So what we're looking to do here is a 7-megawatt community solar facility. It's split between 2 interconnection points and 2 separate interconnection agreements with ComEd. One is for a 5-megawatt system, the other is for a 2-megawatt system. As you can see, we are proposing to come in and connect to the lines on Adamson there. There's existing power lines that we're going to be hooking into. The substation is a little bit east on 47. It's basically at the intersection of 47 and I believe it's Akron Road there. So all the power is going to be fed back into the lines on Adamson and then make its way to the substation there. So the site plan you're looking at, again, as the chair mentioned, it's about 73 acres all in, which encompasses everything that's within the fence, as well as that portion of the access road that runs north to Adamson there. So the panels, there'll be about 30,000 or so, which I know sounds like a lot, but the goal is to try and tuck them away, back from the road, as well as the adjacent properties there. One thing we're doing is to plant, that screening on the north side to try and limit any visibility there, again, from the road, as well as from the adjacent homes there. The panels themselves, we are proposing a single axis tracker system. I don't know if other projects that have gone before the board are a similar setup, but basically, we'll start due east in the morning, it'll be pretty much flat at around this time of day, and then rotate west a little bit, and then, reset overnight and do it all over again the next day. The equipment pads, you can't really see them, I guess you can kind of see the labels there. We are locating them in the center of the project there. We have a couple hammerhead turnarounds that are going to be near those equipment pad locations. Again, because there's two separate interconnection points with ComEd, there'll be two separate equipment pads, two separate transformers. We're using string inverters, so those are about the size of a home AC unit. They'll be kind of scattered throughout the array. I know noise was brought up. Just to touch on that, the transformers, the inverters make a little bit of noise. I would equate it to, the transformers are about maybe a refrigerator, and again, the inverters are about the home air conditioning unit, all of which should not be heard, as you get maybe 50 feet outside of the fence line, and they're definitely not going to be heard from adjacent properties or from the road there. One thing to note on the access road, I should have mentioned this, I did reach out to the Township Road Commissioner, Mr. Frank Kearns. We've had some initial discussions, and I'll obviously, be in touch with him as well as the county as we go to make sure we're getting all the necessary entrance permits, any road use agreements, all that prior to
See for both
construction.
townships?
So he is only for Grafton. We're technically, so where the township line ends is kind of at the property line before you get to the western property of the three. So we're technically coming in off of only the Grafton Township Road, but I can certainly reach out to the Coral Road Commissioner. I'm not sure who that is, honestly, off the top of my head, but I can follow up there. So Frank, recommended, which is included as an exhibit. As far as construction goes, when we come off 47, a little bit south of the site here, to go west on Main and then get to Coin Station and go Coin Station all the way up to Adamson before we get to our entryway there. One last thing, I guess, this being a community solar project, obviously there's going to be some savings that are available to the local residents in the county. So once the project is built, county residents will be able to subscribe, participate in the project and receive, a 10 to 15% discount on their monthly utility bill. We're also looking to hire local labor, use local contractors for the 40 construction jobs that'll be created, as well as the 1 or 2 part-time jobs for maintenance and whatnot, for the, mowing. We'll also be planting a native pollinator species, so to maintain that, to mow within the fence, as well as maintain that screening buffer on the north side, just to make sure those trees are doing its job and screening the project there. Once again, I just want to thank everyone for their time. Obviously, if there's any questions, comments, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, we'll start on my right, Mr. Schneider.
I don't have a question at this time.
Ms. Gardner.
I have a few, one of which I forgot already, but I'll get to it. Now, you say these are single-axis panels, is that correct?
Right.
Does that mean that they're not bifacial?
So the system is single axis. The panels themselves, we are looking to use bifacial. So
Okay.
basically, there'll be steel posts in the ground. The actual racking system, that'll be the thing that moves. That's on a single axis. There'll be a motor
Okay,
on
yeah, I
each.
wasn't sure if that
Yeah.
referred to one side
No.
or both sides.
No.
Okay. Now, this property that straddles 2 townships, is this leased by you or is it owned by you?
We are just leasing the property. So
Okay.
again, of the 183 acres we're leasing, whatever the footprint's gonna be, we're probably being a little bit conservative here. I know there was some comments from the water division about the floodplain setback. I think we can maybe move it. It's at 10 feet right now. We can probably get up to even 25, 50 feet. So this is probably a conservative footprint of that 73 acres. when it's all said and done, it probably can tighten up and it's gonna be somewhere below that. But if it ends up being, 65, 68 acres, whatever it is, that'll be what we're leasing from the Landau family who owns all 3 properties.
All right, now, for the space in between the rows of panels, are you doing plantings or are you using sheep?
Yeah, so right now, we're proposing just a native planting species. We have looked into sheep, not on, not only on this site, but on all our sites, but I, can't make any promises right now, so.
We were not,
Yeah, so we're just proposing to use, the native pollinator species, and again, we'll be mowing it, maintaining it a few times a year.
Okay, and then you would go ahead and comply with the requests by the ordinance here as far as the plantings?
Yep, that's
Okay.
right, and we did submit a consultation to, ILDNR, and they recommended some similar requirements,
Okay.
a wildlife-friendly fence, native species, all that, so we're compliant with that as well on top
Okay,
of it.
great. And are you planning on cutting down any trees?
No, there's really no trees on the property once you get away from the river there, so there's gonna be no clear cutting at all.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Federici.
Just a couple of questions. Do you anticipate owning the project long-term, or once it's up, do you typically sell it?
Yeah, so our plan is to own it long-term.
What type of fence are you proposing? to put up?
Yeah, so the detail right now, we're proposing a farm fence, fixed not farm fence, which is what we typically use to be a little bit more visibly pleasing on top of that screening there.
Okay, those are my only questions.
Mr. Cozen.
Thank you. Quantities of the inverters and the quantities of the other piece of equipment on the site.
Yeah, so there will be, let's see, for the 5 megawatt system, there's gonna be 40 inverters, and then for the 2 megawatt system, what is that, 18 inverters, so 58 string inverters total. There'll be 2 transformers, and then again, approximately 30 or so thousand panels right now.
Thank you. Transformers was the word I'm searching for. And then the other, ordinarily, there would be a table in terms of any kind of economic or return-based. Do you have that kind of information?
We can definitely sit over the table, so yes, there, I should have touched on that. There is gonna be tax revenue coming into the county, township, school district. In all, for both projects, it's probably gonna be somewhere in the range of 50,000 or so each year. But yeah, I can certainly send over a table to follow up, kind of breaking down what we expect, year over year for the 25 or so years.
Would that be acceptable to add that to the record for this year?
Of course.
Thank you. That concludes my questions.
Ms. Dunn.
Did you just say 30,000 panels?
Yes. So I know it sounds like a lot, but that's,
Holy moly. I mean, it's,
yeah.
it's, to put a number with it is just kind of, oh my.
Yeah.
Alrighty, no, I have no other questions. It looks like you're avoiding everything that you should be avoiding anyway, so certainly can't put them in water.
Right.
So
Right.
we're good. I'm good, thank you.
I want to note that we received a letter from Coral Township. It was from their plan commission. And just with some items through the Soil and Water Conservation District report. I think you have a copy of that letter before you. So it's just addressing some areas of concern. And so I don't know if you want to address those or just say that, these will be addressed when it.
Yeah, I think, we're gonna, obviously, pending we get the conditional use permit and we're going towards construction, we'll have a stormwater, management plan, erosion sediment control plan. So all this will be addressed prior to, building permit and starting construction.
Okay. I have no other questions. Staff have any questions?
No questions at this time.
Does any member of the public have questions regarding this testimony? Okay. Then we'll move on to the staff report.
Okay. Since I'm filling in for Kim, I'm not personally real versed in this, so excuse me, I'm going to read the one paragraph here. The 2030 Comprehensive Plan and the 2030 and Beyond Update both support the development of commercial solar energy facilities. Once the facility is constructed, there is very little to no traffic generated by the use. There is very minimal risk of noise, lighting, and other nuisances generated by this use. The proposed use is compatible with adjacent uses. As noted within Public Act 102-1132, a request for Thank you, 1123. A request for a conditional use permit for a commercial solar energy facility shall be approved if the request is in compliance with the standards and conditions imposed within the Act. The zoning ordinance adopted is consistent with this code and the conditions imposed under state and federal statutes and regulations. A county may not adopt zoning regulations that disallow commercial solar energy facilities from being developed or operated in any district zone to allow agricultural or industrial uses. All construction will be required to meet applicable codes and ordinances for fire protection, commercial building and electrical construction, and stormwater management. And there are a total of 9 recommended conditions.
So do you feel they've met the conditions imposed by the state?
I do.
Does any members of the board have questions of the report?
Yes. Did we hear any comments from any of the municipalities in
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Any other questions? Okay, at this time, we'll take any statements on the members of the public. If you have any statement regarding the petition, you're welcome to have 3 minutes to state that.
No, I was just more concerned how big it was going to be. It looks like I'm surrounded by it. I didn't think it was going to be that big, or I thought it'd be farther out. That's why I'm here to see.
Okay. All right, do you have any closing statement?
No, again, I just want to thank everyone for their time today. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so at this time, we will close the hearing portion.
You need to let him know that you're
Oh,
short one
yes,
person.
thank you for that reminder. You are entitled to 7 votes to go before the county board. You need 5 for a positive recommendation, and we only have 6 today. So I have to ask you if you're comfortable moving forward.
Yes, I think so.
All right, so we will close the hearing portion and move on to the voting portion of the meeting. Again, this is for petition 2024-054, a request for a conditional use permit to allow for a commercial solar energy facility. And the applicant is Grafton Township Solar LLC and Coral Township Solar LLC. We have 9 proposed conditions. Number 1, the conditional use shall have no time limit unless the use is abandoned as specified in 16.56.030.pp.4 of the McHenry County Unified Development Ordinance. Number 2, site development shall be in substantial conformance with the site plan prepared by Stantec, received by the Department of Planning and Development on October 10, 2024, and it is attached. The decommissioning plan shall be applicable in part as well as in whole. If any portion of the commercial solar energy facility ceases to perform its intended function for more than 12 consecutive months, that portion of the facility shall be decommissioned in compliance with all the terms of the decommissioning plan. Number 4, a McHenry County stormwater management permit shall be secured prior to construction. Any damaged drainage tiles shall be repaired at the expense of the petitioner and in a manner satisfactory to the Water Resources Division Manager. Number 5, a detailed landscape plan illustrating compliance with required landscape screening standards and Illinois Department of Natural Resources pollinator scorecard standards and land management practices shall be approved by the zoning enforcement officer prior to issuance of a construction/building permit. Number 6, fencing shall be provided in compliance with the National Electrical Code as applicable. The use of barbed wire is prohibited. Setting fence posts in concrete is prohibited except for gate posts and where otherwise required for stability. Number 7, recommendations made by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources in their August 5, 2024 letters to the applicants with regard to protected resources in the vicinity of the project location shall be followed. Number 8, all requirements of McHenry County Unified Development Ordinance 16.56.030.pp as amended, subject to State of Illinois Public Act 102-1123 and Public Act 103-0580, shall be met or exceeded unless specifically amended by this conditional use permit. Number 9, all other federal, state, and local laws shall be met. Are there any other proposed conditions?
Madam Chairman, I move acceptance of the conditions as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Eldridge, seconded by Ms. Donner, to approve the proposed conditions. Any discussion? And I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, so the conditions are approved 6-0.
Madam Chairman, I move acceptance of the petitions subject to the conditions.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll go to Ms. Gardner.
Yes.
It's been moved by Mr. Eldridge and seconded by Ms. Gardner to approve this request for a conditional use permit. Discussion, Mr. Eldridge.
Yes, Illinois Public Act 102-1123 requires that if the state standards be met, that the zoning board shall vote in favor of a petition for a commercial solar facility such as this. Having the staff has testified that they have been met, and a review of their filing causes me to agree with that, and therefore we are obligated to vote in favor of this petition. Having said that, I think that this is a reasonable location for such a facility. I think that it's a relatively rural part of the county and will perhaps not be as desirable to look at as a cornfield, but this county is getting a great many of these. It's going to be the scene from a great many spots in the county, and I think this is about as good as any other. The presentation of what they're proposing to do seems both competent and fairly thoughtful, and therefore I have no trouble in complying with the law and supporting the petition.
Ms. Gardner.
I agree with Mr. Eldridge, and I'd like to express my appreciation for the layout of this particular array. It's kind of away from the edges, away from people, and the fact that there's no trees being removed also makes me happy. So I'm in favor.
Mr. Schnabel.
Total agreement with what's been said so far.
Ms. Donner.
I'm good with it, thank you.
Mr. Cozen, did I get you?
That's all right, but I concur with the remarks that have been made.
And I concur as well. I will vote in favor of the request, so I will call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge.
Yes.
Ms. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Cozen.
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel.
Yes.
Ms. Donner.
Yes.
And I will vote yes, so this will go to the county board with a 6-0 vote approving the request. If there's no other business to come before us, then this hearing is closed.
Thank you again, everyone. Looking forward to meeting you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too,
At
yeah.
23-minute solar hearing meeting.
That was pretty good.
You made it set a record.
I was hoping it was short and sweet, yeah.
Are there any extra copies of those?
Organized, so.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You want another
A lot
one?
next week.
Yeah.
I will.
With our
You got
long underwear
seven
on.
of them.
Yeah, right.